Apple is reporting weaker than expected sales from 2015. Hey, but don't let it fool you. The company also announced the most profitable quarter in U.S. history. NewYorker.com editor and CBS News contributor Nick Thompson has more details. Nick, I saw so many headlines that were asking, can Apple save us? And I guess the big answer is no, it can't.
No, there are a lot of headlines that say, well, Apple, are they going to save the economy? Are they going to turn it around? It's a big part of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Will it spike and bring everything up with it? And the answer is not really. The company has just released its earnings. Its earnings, in one hand, are absolutely amazing. Most profitable quarter any company has ever had. But if you look at the future expectations, if you look at the rate of growth, if you look at sales the last quarter, all these numbers are a little bit disappointing. So it suggests that maybe Apple's trajectory is not as good as it has been over the last 10 years.
Why the slower growth?
Slower growth is for a lot of reasons. One, there's a little bit of a slowdown in smartphone sales around the world in general, right? Apple is basically an iPhone company that makes up the large majority of the money they've taken. So any decrease in the rate of increase in the number of people who buy phones, that's a problem. There's a decline in China because the economic declines in China. And then also, it's been a long time since they released a new iPhone, and their competitors are pretty good too.
And a lot of Apple's growth on iPhone sales was coming in China, whereas people were becoming more modernized and earning more money. They were like, what are we going to buy? We're going to get an iPhone.
You're right. Apple did amazingly in China up until now. They grew 14% year over year, but that's a much lower number than they had expected.
Okay, we're still looking, though, at, even though it's the slowest growth, we're still looking at growth here in 2015, 74.77 million. Apple's projected revenue for March, 50 to 53 billion.
Right.
I mean, granted, that would be $2 billion shy of 2015, but it's a lot of money.
Look, it's a lot of money. It's a huge company, but the trends really do matter. And if the trends are not as good as they have been in the past, it's something to look out for, right? Apple doesn't decline. If you look at a quarter year over year and you look at it over the last 20 years, it is very rare to see, Q2 of 2016 being less than Q2 of 2015. So that's a new thing.
Do they have to come up with a new must-have product? I mean, what does Apple need to do in order to see the kind of growth, the kind of sales that investors want to see?
Well, so yes, they would probably have to either come up with a new product, or they'd have to do even better at raising prices, or the watch would have to take off, and the watch hasn't taken off yet. So we're seeing sluggish growth of the iPhone, precipitous declines in the sales of the iPad, which is quite interesting. I don't think anybody predicted that a couple years ago. Flat sales in the MacBook. It's a little confusing. It's hard to figure out exactly how much the watch sold, but it's clearly not blowing things up. So, yes, to get back to the old Apple, they need an amazing new product, an amazing new TV, an amazing new car, whatever.
Just to be clear, though, we're not talking about the new iteration of Eastman Kodak.
No, this is not Eastman Kodak. This is a company that's doing really well. If anybody who works for Apple, you're fine. You're doing okay.
Okay, Nick, thanks.
Thanks so much, Contessa.